Welcome to another video. We're going to take a look at rendering and why you should not do it within CAD software such as CATIA, SolidWorks, Siemens, Fusion Inventor, and so on. So the case study will be this magic potion. As we can see, this has been scanned with Arctic Spider, and we see that in order to scan bottles, you should treat it with anti-glare spray. So I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna download the STL file. Keep in mind that the STL file doesn't have texture. So if I would want the texture, I could download the other WRL file, but that will only be, let's say, compatible with some softwares, and Blender is one of those. So let me open this within CATIA. So Digital Shape Editor, I will open that scanned element. So we see the potion STL will be this one. Now we have the possibility to add glass material in CATIA. If you go at the bottom, apply material. On the other section, we're gonna see over here, so we have smoked glass over here. So I can apply that to the mesh, apply material, and afterwards, to visualize that material, we need to go within shading with material. And this is how the default glass smoke looks in CATIA. We have the possibility to edit those properties. So we have the lighting, so we see the ambient over here. If I will increase this, we're gonna see the output in real time over here. We can also change the specular, so we're gonna see those appearing on the surface of the bottle. We can also change the transparency. So if I will go all the way to 0, this will no longer be transparent. If I'm gonna go over here to 1, this will be, so it will not be visible anymore. But overall, these are all the changes that can be done. And to better see the final result, in CATIA we need to go and render this. So I'll go over here to Photo Studio, and we're gonna see that the size is not that large. So my desktop is full HD, so this will be a little bit smaller because this will only take the inner screen. If I will go over here to render, now we're gonna see how CATIA will start and do that rendering. And within the final mesh, we're gonna have the environment reflecting onto that surface of the object. So this is what we can achieve within CATIA. Now let's take a look at the same model. I will open it over here. So I will drag and drop the same STL file within Keyshot. We're gonna see that the orientation will be a little bit different. Therefore, I will go over here and I will swap this on the Z-axis. And afterwards, if I will search for the glass material section, I'm gonna see that within Keyshot, there are a wide variety of glass materials available. Again, just like within CATIA, we can go in and change some of the properties. If I go to Edit Material, we're gonna see the property over here. And we can also go within the material graph. But overall, for glass, there won't be so many, let's say, parameters that we can adjust over here. There are some other glass materials, so that's a big advantage. But let's take a look at the materials within Blender. So keep in mind that CATIA is a paid software, Keyshot as well. I'm using version 9, which is older, so this was released 4 or 5 years ago. Currently they are Keyshot 13, which is equivalent of 2024, and Keyshot 12 is for 2023. But Blender is free, so I can just go over here, import. I will go for the STL file. I know that within the downloads will be the STL over here. We see that this has been scaled a lot, so I just need to adjust the scale within Blender. So I press S for scale 0.001. I also need to add that point, and this will be the true scale of the pot. I can delete the default cube, And now if I want to add some glass materials, I can just go over here, type in glass. So this is Blender Kit. This is available for free. Blender is also available for free. And for example, we're going to have drinking glass texture. I can just drag and drop it. And afterwards, I will need to go to shading viewport. And we're going to see how fast this will update. And we're going to have a real-time preview of the environment. So currently we have an environment set over here within Blender, and that will reflect onto the surface of our potion pot. So I can also change it to a different texture. We're going to see how that will look. And keep in mind that there are a wide variety of glass materials. There are over 500 over here by default. So we have this facing glass, which will look quite interesting. And you can further change the properties of all of this. If you're gonna go with the selected element within the shading viewport, which is over here at the top, we're gonna see the graph material. So we're gonna see all those parameters that will define the selected material. And we can, again, go over here and we can increase the roughness. And we're gonna see what will be the output of that change. We can also change the scale, and that will also have a different output. And yeah, I encourage you to explore Blender Kit because this has a wide variety of materials, and you also don't need to wait so much for the rendering because they will be made faster. So this is a little bit of an odd texture, but let me just add this green glass to the potion, and we're gonna see how this will look a lot better. Keep in mind that CATIA also will struggle to render high detail STLs. For example, if I will import the lion, so I have a lion on my desktop, this will be also present within my previous video. So as you can see, this lion has quite a lot of points. If I will go over here to render and I will click the render button, we're gonna see how CATIA will start gathering the final points in order to render this. So this is just the pre-computing of the rendering, and only afterwards CATIA will slowly start to render this over here. We see the estimated time, which takes quite a lot. For example, over here within Keyshot, even now since CATIA is using my processor, in Keyshot it will be a little bit laggy, but I will just discard this scene and I will open the lion over here just to see how fast this will work, even though let's say the main computational is taken over here by CATIA, but this is not optimal for rendering. So let me just jump within Blender. I will import the same lion over here. So STL, and this will be the lion. That should load in. I will press the point, the numpad, and this will be the lion. And again, if I would want to add, for example, frosty glass to the lion, I can drag and drop that. This will start downloading because Blender Kit is not, let's say, installed on computer. This will be linked and it will download the material as you select those. If I want to try a different one, maybe glow glass. So this one, I will double click on that. Again, it will start download and I'm going to see the final output over here. So the same for the other materials. So we have a wide variety of materials. This should kick in quite soon, so let's take a look. It's currently maybe still downloading. And while we jump back to CATIA, we're going to see how this slowly progresses. We have an estimated time over here over 3 hours, so that's quite a lot. Keyshot is still not responding, but usually this should become, let's say, stable. But we see that Blender doesn't have any problem. So even though this is my older PC, so it's a 10 years old PC, we see how well Blender manages with the rendering. So let me apply this to the lion. And since this is set to viewport shading, this should update as soon as that will be downloaded. I will stop CATIA because this is only at 2% and this isn't gonna take me anywhere. And again, we see over here how fast this will work, and it will be the same within Keyshot. So let me just open Keyshot quite fast over here. And from the desktop, I will just drag and drop the same lion over here. So the same lion STL is this one. We have that loaded. Again, we have to swap an axis. So I go over here on the scene positioning, Z-axis 90 degrees. Okay, in this case, it's not only that, we also need to adjust the Y. Snap that to the ground. And again, let's search for some glass materials. We also have some gemstones over here within Keyshot. And yeah, we're gonna see how that will slowly render over here. We can also take this to the final render. That will give us a better output, but just like within the previous rendering from CATIA, we're gonna see how that will slowly develop. But as you can see, Keyshot makes use of multiple cores. So if CATIA rendering is not that great, it's mainly a one-core solution. We're gonna see how fast this will create a similar resolution to that one from CATIA. And yeah, it's the same with Blender. I mostly prefer Blender since this is the free version. And it does things better than paid solutions. So I hope that this video showcases you the potential of Blender and you will give this a try. I will position a similar video on the left side. I will add the Blender tips and tricks playlist to the top. If you want to get started with Blender, I highly recommend that. And I will also add a subscribe button. So that's it. Thanks for watching.